The Bitcoin death cross has finally happened, as we can see here on Binance on the 1-day chart. We're already crossed now, so the 50 MA, the 50 moving average is below the 200 MA, and you could see we had a bit of a dip here, but nothing major. And I could say that, yeah, sure, we're going to see something more major later down the road. It could happen, right? We could be going to 26K. That's the next area of support for Bitcoin, or we could even go as low as 20K in the worst case scenario. But we do have something bullish to say here. I mean, it could just trade sideways for a while and then it could just pop back up. And why am I saying this? Well, it's because of this 200-day moving average being on the uptrend still, right? I know that this represents the previous price, and based on the previous price we are in the bullish scenario, but then of course, because it is massive dip that we had, it caused the moving average to slowly move down and then of course cross with the 200-day. But just because this 200-day is still on the uptrend here, I still have some hope for Bitcoin. And we have to remember, of course, there's going to be FUD, there's going to be things trying to bring it down, but if there's just not enough sellers below 30K, if the support holds strong enough, then we're not going to dump below, I hope. But overall, we can see there's a lot of red in the market here, and we'll take a look at the Ethereum chart as well after, because I found something interesting there that I want to share with you. So yeah, Polkadot is doing horribly bad. Even though it's on Coinbase, it doesn't matter anymore. It just shows you when the market dumps, it doesn't matter which exchanges you're listed on, it doesn't matter what kind of news you've released, it doesn't matter if the parachain auctions are around the corner, it's just going to continue to dump, right? So it just shows you here 1672, huge drop here for Polkadot. I know that it went as low as like $15 the last time we had that dip to 29K for Bitcoin. And Kusama is yeah, it's just really low right at the moment. What is it at? It's not even shown on that page. Let's just search for it directly on Kusama. $233 here, and I did say that 240, 260 should hold as support. So now that we're below that, we're in the real danger zone here for Kusama. If Bitcoin takes a bigger plunge, we're going to go down to the 100 range. It's as simple as that, because that's the next area of support for Kusama. So it's going to be a struggle here for Kusama. Unfortunately, Kusama holders having to watch this. I know that many of you are probably in this in the long run, right? You may be saying, well, I'm in this in the long run, I'm staking or I'm locking it up for the parachain auctions. In that case, it doesn't matter, right? But seeing it drop this low is definitely mind-boggling, right? And it does impact you. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this space. It doesn't matter if you've been sitting through the bear market already. After seeing it pop so much, seeing this kind of humongous pullback is harsh, right? I'm gonna say it is harsh. And we have to remember one other thing. I mean, Kusama did pop to as high as like $56 or $60, and then it had that big pullback back in October to November of last year, where it went to $26, and everyone thought it's game over. And then look, to our surprise, it went from $26 all the way to 650, I think it was, or 660, to touch the all-time high. So what's to say here that this isn't another trap, and that we're not going to see Kusama absolutely explode, perhaps to even the $6,000 range, to shock everyone in the community, right? I know it sounds absolutely absurd considering the market cap you would have, but even if it goes to 1,000, it's still really good, right? Considering that Kusama started around $1, it dipped below $1 for a while on the bloody day, 13th of March 2020. And then we just continue to increase in price, right? And it's been on a constant uptrend. So yeah, I mean, there's only so much room it has, right? But another 5x from here is definitely not impossible. I did calculate that even a potential $2,500 Kusama is very possible, right? It's very possible, and I explained why. Because of the market cap right now, Kusama is priced as if Polkadot was trading at $2.34. That's how low it is, right? So just imagine if Polkadot could go to $47, what's to say that Kusama could not go to 4,700, considering that the supply is basically 100 times lower, right? So yeah, just let me know what you think. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the Kusama price. But to continue on here, we will be talking about PDEX, and we'll be talking about the news as well. So please hang around here in this video, or flip through if you're only interested in the timeline for Polkadex or in the timeline for the China news that I want to talk about. But next, let's talk about the Ethereum pair here. And actually, for anyone that doesn't already know, you could get a death cross or a golden cross on pretty much all the time ranges starting from 15 minutes. I don't think they count for the 5-minute time frames, but for the 15-minute time frames they do count. And of course the 30-minute and the 1 hour and so on. And we've got the 1 hour time frame here, and as you can see, we actually had the Ethereum death cross here on the 17th of June on the 1 hour chart. You can see this is when it happened, and of course we followed with a downtrend here after the death cross. So not as the death cross happened, we had a bit of a dip, right? It wasn't too major here, but then you could see we had this huge dip here, and then of course the even bigger one, and then of course we tried to go back up here and then it just failed. So yeah, this is obviously related to Bitcoin here, all of this, right, all of this dump here. But yeah, this is the effect of the death cross. It's normally an effect which is happening later down the line. But notice one thing here which is different from the Bitcoin chart. The 200 MA is actually on a downtrend here. So this is another difference that you got to keep in mind. I know that every time I've been watching these charts and I've been seeing this kind of dips, I've normally seen these dips when the larger time frame MA is on the downtrend and then the lower time frame MA crosses below it, it causes it to be even more bearish, and then there's usually a bigger dip following it, right? So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. When the larger time frame MA is on the downtrend, it does mean that it adds to that probability of it dropping even lower. So that's why I was pretty hopeful about Bitcoin here, seeing it that it's on the uptrend with the 200 MA. It doesn't mean that it's not going to stabilize here for a while, but nevertheless, as long as it doesn't go below, it doesn't start to move down, then we still have a shot, right? If it does go down, then we're in big trouble. Of course, it could even mean we'll be getting into the bear market if we go as low as $20,000, right? It's as simple as that. If it goes in a week and then it goes back up, then it doesn't matter. But if it's just like a slow bleeding scenario, right, then yeah, it could be pretty horrible here. But we have to remember we had quite a number of days with red, right? So what's to say that we're not going to get a green day now? And the green day could be pretty strong green day too. It might take us to 40K once again and surprise everyone, because Bitcoin does that. Bitcoin does surprises. So let's move on here and talk about Polkadex. This is the one that I've been talking about for the last while now, and I've been saying that I am targeting anything between $13 and $15 here, and I've actually made an entry a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, I FOMO'd in here when I saw the dip here. You could see we had a dip here to 1680. I actually FOMO'd in the $17 range here when I saw it, just because I thought it's going to push back up. To be honest, I really didn't think. I thought the weekend is going to be the end of the dump and we're going to see a bit of a recovery today, but it seems I was wrong, and then it kept dipping here. So no worries, it is what it is. I do think that I'm still at a pretty low entry. Of course it could go lower, right, but I'm just going to scoop up more if that's the case to average in here. But I am pretty hopeful with PDEX, right? I don't have anything negative to say about them. They're continuing development. If you check their tweets, they're constantly tweeting. So yeah, there's just absolutely nothing bad to say about PDEX here, to be honest, in my opinion. So yeah, the testnet should launch pretty soon as well. When the testnet launches, I am expecting some kind of hype, but remember that nothing really hypes anything when the price is going down, right? So we just have to assume here that the $30,000 Bitcoin is going to hold, then we're going to bounce back up. Even if we trade sideways for a while, that's going to be really good for PDEX, because it gives them enough time to continue development, to launch that testnet, to cause the hype, to likely list on other exchanges, on larger exchanges. And then when that happens, then of course we're going to get closer to the launch of the mainnet, and you could see the price spike up quite a lot more when the IDOs are going to start launching on Polkadex, right? And remember, Polkadex is an order book based decentralized exchange on Substrate. So next, let's talk about probably the biggest news that affected the price of Bitcoin and of course the rest of the altcoins, and that's because China is going to shut down over 90% of its Bitcoin mining capacity after local bans. And I know this was posted yesterday, but we're going to be covering this article today because it is interesting. We're going to be talking about this and which type of cryptocurrencies could this impact. So first, let's have a read through this. Now, they're saying many Bitcoin mines in southwest China's Sichuan province, which is one of China's largest cryptocurrency mining bases, were closed as of Sunday, according to after local authorities ordered a halt to mining in the region. On Friday, amid an intensified nationwide crackdown against cryptocurrency mining. The ban also means that more than 90% of China's Bitcoin mining capacity is estimated to be shut down, at least for the short term, as regulators in other key mining hubs in China's north and southwest regions have taken similar harsh steps. Some industry players had hoped that regulators in Sichuan, where hydropower is abundant, could take a softer approach, but the latest ban underscores Chinese regulators' determination to curb speculative crypto trading to control financial risks, despite certain benefits to local economies, observers said. Well, the exit window is closing and we're scrambling to find overseas mines to place our mining devices. A Sichuan-based industry insider who spoke on conditions of anonymity told the Global Times on Sunday, adding that a number of miners have suffered huge losses. And it just shows you here, I mean, they are scared to openly declare who they are or openly reveal themselves, because the thing is with China is that being a communist country, everything is so strict over there, right? And there are risks, to be honest. You could get locked up out of any small reason, which they could see as something that is against their law, right? So it just shows you like it's really, really dangerous. So that's why they have to be very careful. And a lot of companies that are based in China are actually trying to work behind the scenes, trying to keep a low profile. I know that Chainx had suffered this as well, and now they're saying that they're no longer going to suffer this, as they're no longer going to get paid from dividends. But then you're going to ask yourself the question, well, if they're no longer going to get dividends, then how are they motivated to continue the operations of the project? And here's where I think they're going to be working on setting up maybe a center, like an operations center outside of China, probably somewhere in Europe, which is going to continue development for Chainx, I think, right? I think this is what their plan is, but I don't know. This is just what I'm assuming at the moment after having chatted to a number of people from the community. So to continue on here, the Sichuan Provincial Development and Reform Commission and the Sichuan Energy Bureau issued a joint notice on Friday ordering local electricity companies to screen, clean up and terminate mining operations by Sunday. The notice listed 26 firms that had been inspected and reported as potential cryptocurrency mining enterprises, including Heishui Kedai Big Data Tech Co. and Kangding Guorong Tech Co. The notice also ordered local electricity companies to immediately stop supplying power to crypto mining projects they have detected and conduct self-inspection and rectification and report the results by Friday. Also, it banned local authorities from approving new mining projects. So just this alone, I mean, it just tells you here they're not looking forward to having any more mining operations. It's like they're trying to shut it down completely, right? It's like, how openly minded will they be then when it comes to adoption? So this is like the biggest FUD of all, right? And I remember there was some glimpse of this FUD a while back, and somebody from China, I can't remember his name, I retweeted his tweet on Twitter. He basically assured us that no, we don't have to worry about anything, everything's going to be fine. But it just shows you once again China is smacking with the hammer in the table. And this is what happened in 2018, at the beginning of 2018, when China announced the ban, when Korea announced the restrictions or the regulations with cryptocurrency exchanges and so on. And all this FUD started and basically kicked off the bear market. And I wonder if this is what's going to trigger the bear market once again, right? I hope not, but it seems like it's going that way, right? It is going. China have a lot of power. So I'll have to see what good comes out of that. Will these companies eventually move outside of China? I don't know. But let's continue on here. So we had hoped that Sichuan would be an exception during the clampdown, as there is an electricity glut there in the rainy season, but Chinese regulators are now taking a uniform approach which would overhaul the reign in the booming Bitcoin mining industry in China. The CEO of Shenzhen-based blockchain company Bank Ledger told the Global Times on Sunday. Now, Chinese companies back Bitcoin mining pools such as Huobi Pool, Binance, and Antpool have experienced a 20% to 40% plunge in their real-time hash rates within the past 24 hours, according to media reports. Northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur, I think is pronounced, Autonomous Region, North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, and Southwest China's Yunnan Province have all announced rules curbing Bitcoin mining. So that's horrible here. Now that means that more than 90% of the Bitcoin mining capacity, or 1/3 of the global crypto network's processing power, will be suspended in the short term. As a result, Chinese miners must form alliances to migrate overseas. This is the key here. This is the key here. That's what they're trying to do, because if not, the overseas mining facilities are going to be really, really happy, right? Don't imagine that Bitcoin is going to die out. No way, no way. And this is the beauty of decentralization. You're going to see more competitors come out on top and are going to be mining Bitcoin because of the hash power being less, right? They're not going to need as much hash power to mine. The difficulty is not going to be the same, right? If there's going to be less people mining, difficulty tends to drop. That's the beauty of Bitcoin. It's in the code. You can't change the code, right? You can write things on top of the code, but you cannot change the initial code. So it's going to be they're going to be looking to migrate overseas to places such as North America and Russia. He added that the price of mining machines could take a dive in the short term, as many crypto miners would dump the processing equipment, but market willingness to digest the oversupply would remain lukewarm. That would also hammer upstream supplies. Wang Peng, an assistant professor at the Guilin School of Artificial Intelligence at the Renmin University of China, told the Global Times on Sunday that the Chinese authorities' move is in line with global financial regulators' tightened scrutiny of digital currencies trading to prevent systematic financial risks and illegal activities such as money laundering. In May, senior Chinese officials said that it is necessary to crack down on Bitcoin mining and trading and resolutely prevent the transmission of individual risk to the wider society. So yeah, I mean, with this, it just shows that China are now willing to embrace cryptocurrencies. They were talking about creating a digital yuan, and I'm sure they're probably working on that. Maybe they're working on that still. I don't know what to say, right? But it just shows you that this could impact a lot of companies in China, right? And it just shows you it's gonna affect the startups in general, right? Because a lot of these mining facilities are likely like small companies, startups, which have a couple of engineers, a couple of people checking them here and there, maintaining them to make sure that the GPUs are intact, are okay, functional, and so on, monitoring the mining facility and so on. So it just shows you, right, that having something like this is going to be negative to the price of cryptocurrencies, which are based in China. Right, because they are projects like I was saying, Chainx, they're based in China, and they've kept a low profile. They didn't go to Polkadot Decoded to talk at the event because they wanted to keep this low profile. So more projects are going to be affected by this. We could expect Neo, we could expect Ontology to be affected by this. I know that Ontology and Neo have set up offices in the US as well, right? So probably to wave around this issue that they've got, right? So yeah, we're likely going to see that people that have a lot of money, companies that have a lot of money, are going to be looking at opening offices overseas. They're not just going to wait until China shut them down and they go out of business. That's not going to happen, right? But I think that the startups that are based in China are going to go out of business, or they're going to remain anonymous. So just be careful, right? This is how it is. We'll have to see how things go. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.